Well, let's unpack these developments with political analyst Ongama Mtika. He joins us now. Thank you so much for taking your time. Well, some might speculate maybe that, this reshuffling, could it be because there's a crisis and that's why he made these decisions?
Good evening to you and your viewers, Barron. The fact of the matter is that this is an exercise in aligning the composition of the provincial cabinet with the new political realities in the province. And every other objective claimed in terms of strengthening government is ancillary to that. And indeed, there are instances in the allocation, in the divisions of roles, where there's evidence that the portfolio will be stronger. Say, for example, with the bringing in at the MEC for COGTA, somebody who has got 20 years experience in local government. So notwithstanding my sense that this is more about political alignment, between the cabinet and the new leadership, there are elements where there's some truth to the claims being made about strengthening governance.
Now, let's talk about the axing of Ziwe, Tikana, Kotiwe, and Fezike Nkomonye, because, these could maybe possibly be linked because, Babalwa Madikizela, he was also running for chairmanship when they held the provincial conference. And is this maybe a case of, they were aligning with Madikizela and that's why they were axed?
So, you see, the ANC has created this challenge of acquiring political office to be directly linked to control of the state. And I think that a landmark agreement in that or resolution was the Pulukwane idea that it was undesirable to have two centers of power and you needed to deal with that. And though in a more direct way it related to who chaired a province and who became premier, or who was the president and who became the president of the party and therefore should become president of the country, we have seen that it has also been cascaded down to the level of the cabinet, in terms of which those who are in power must be accommodated with positions so that whatever they may have lost. I mean, for example, if you look at the new treasurer, Zolile Williams, he was a municipal manager and, needed to be, to have a role in government after losing his position at a local government level. So it is a purge as far as one sees it. And the reason why it's a purge is because what occasions the reshuffle is a recent change in the composition of the political leadership of the province at a party level. And secondly, the two particularly are, in my view, being targeted for their alignment with the Babalo Madikizela campaign. Because if it was something other than that, for example, Weziwe Tikana could have been fired when allegations surfaced of wrongdoing some time ago. And then there's nothing really with Fezeke Nkomonye, which is recent, that would occasion her sacking other than possibly aligning with the Babalo Madikizela faction. I mean, there's nothing else that explains why there's a cabinet reshuffle now. Other than the fact that we've just gone to a conference in the province.
True, but let's take a look there at Babalo. I mean, he's a renowned businessman in the Eastern Cape, but I mean, there must be some sort of tension now between him and, of course, the premier. But Do you think this is going to have a further impact on, political structures in the province, even though he did, resign?
Sure. So I think Babalo's reputation is a problematic one in the province. There are some who appreciate the role that he played in government in terms of turning around the revenue generation from government properties, among other things. But also there's been allegations of capture of local government, that go around. So renowned is a little bit problematic. His was inevitable. I mean, if you looked at the tone of his campaign, it was not a win-win kind of tone. It was a zero-sum campaign, in terms of which, for example, I think on more than one occasion, he asked the question, Oscar Mabuyane has been in government for 12 years, in the leadership of the party for 12 years. What else is he looking for running for chairperson? So that kind of rhetoric would have strained relationships, and would have made continuing to work together untenable. More so when you factor in national politics leading up to the conference of the ANC. So one can understand that, and the desire to simplify the issue of the leadership of the province, especially at a cabinet level, by having him resign. And indeed, he did resign. Going against people who were aligned to his campaign or allegedly aligned to his campaign is something else.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. All roads leading now to December with the national conference. And then you have Mabuyane, whose name has been coming up a lot now recently, gunning for that top 6 position and maybe even deputy president of the ANC. So this has certainly this reshuffle and the alliances definitely it might be playing a role here. What would you say?
Sure. So I think we also must acknowledge that some of the things that happen are a matter of the structure and of leadership selection within the ANC, more than about the psyche of the leaders who are acting within this structure. So in KZN, in the Eastern Cape, part of what is necessary in order to secure better chances of one consolidating power in the province and then positioning oneself well to secure some greater positions at a national level are in fact consolidating power and eliminating opponents whose access to resources may in fact compromise an ongoing campaign at a national level. So part of what's happening, in my view, both in KZN and in the Eastern Cape, and I haven't heard it in Mpumalanga, by the way, this sense of making sure that, the gaps are closed in terms of the campaign. And the ANC must take the blame for this, for failing to reform its electoral processes such that they depend less on allies, but more on a free campaigns that people can run among the rank and file membership, rather than controlling particular strongholds on the basis of what allies bring to the table. Because the inevitable result of that is that because people play a vital role and own a particular membership base, they end up trading with positions, trading with support bases, with the promise that once that happens, they get particular positions at the level of the party or at the level of the state.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think we'll be seeing a lot more happening on the political front in the country leading to December 2020. That was political analyst Ongama Mtika on eNCA.